Welcome to Interior Design Diaries, where today we're talking with Molly O of Molly O Interior Design. And we're talking through client relationships, navigating the interior design world, and the true difference between an interior designer and an interior decorator. Let's chat. Hi, Molly.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you. I'm so honored that you would ask me to come sit on this fun podcast.
Well, we've known each other, oh my gosh, so long.
Very long.
Since I was a small child.
So the 80s. We were around in the 80s.
Yes, we were. And we've been doing interior design for, 20 plus?
20 plus years.
Both of us.
Yes.
So I'm in Newport. You are too. But tell me a little bit about what you've been doing for 20 years.
So I started my career actually here in Irvine at Taco Bell. I worked in their architectural engineering department and learned everything you could possibly want to know about how to build a burrito and a taco and how to make those items.
Amazing.
And how to place the kitchen equipment and then also what a queue line is, how people line up, how people receive their food, how the workers make their food. And it was a great experience to work for a corporation. I never thought as an interior designer that I would get this opportunity. But in the school that I attended, we learned a lot about architecture as well as interior design, and the two go hand in hand with one another. I also had left Taco Bell and also had the opportunity to work for another big company called Gap up in San Francisco and did the same thing for them, but more on the retail end on how someone was moving throughout retail space, how the clothes were displayed.
I think that's something that people forget. We don't just make things pretty.
No, we don't.
And that's a huge, huge part of what we do as designers.
Yes. Well, I mean, you could think about it even bigger is that every space you walk into,
everywhere,
we touch.
Planes, houses. From the moment you wake up, you're going into a space.
A doctor's office, a grocery store, a hotel, a restaurant. So it's everything is thought out on the end user and how that person is going to use the space, experience the space. How's that space going to make them feel? Mm-hmm. And that's a huge weight on us.
Yes. It's amazing how much that we do that's behind the scenes.
Yes.
The R&D, the research, the figuring out how people are going to move through the space, how the people are going to cook in the space, what they're going to cook, how they're going to cook it, where we're placing things.
Yes.
So many different things rather than just picking it and making it pretty. That's like the worst thing that I hear people go, oh, well, you just make it pretty. It's like, oh my gosh, the roll eyes moment.
You're a decorator.
Decorator.
You're just a decorator.
Yeah, the girl, here she comes. Yeah.
And I think
and we wave our wand and
it makes it
and we
pretty.
have no idea how it works and the building part of it. But it's so interesting to know that you have the interior architecture side as well as the engineering side. And then we all know that marketing goes into so many different facets of interior design. Like you start with your brand and then it flows out. And from a commercial standpoint, Taco Bell, Gap, like these are major, major players. And you got to essentially have your hand in that. The look, the feel, the branding, the logo. So it's not just the space, it's all of it.
It is. And I have to say I was very fortunate. And then to also now to be able to go out on my own. So I've been out on my own for 12 years. And what was fascinating about going out on your own after I was working for 3 major brands, I didn't realize I had to understand accounting. I had to understand HR. I had to understand PR, marketing,
people,
all the pieces that makes purchasing, that makes a business tick. And so they say, oh, well, when you open up your own business, you really you have a concept, that concept only comes through maybe 6%, and the 94% of it is all these other pieces to make a business work. And it basically, I went at it with no fear. Maybe I was just naive and just threw things to the ceiling and hoped that something would stick. And just from everything, from the way that I handled clients, to the way I handled my employees, to the way that I handled my contractors, to the way I handled the trade vendors. And finally, I feel in 2019, we were rocking and rolling. We had a solid group of designers that were working.
And you had a store too.
And I had a store.
Yeah.
I had
Del Mar?
in Del Mar, a
Yep.
retail space and a showroom and a little design studio. And we were producing all the plans in-house. And
That's another thing too. People don't realize that interior designers can get plans through the city.
yes,
If you have your credentials and your
Yes.
license,
Yes.
you can get your plans through the city.
people don't understand.
People don't get that.
No, they don't. So
'Cause
I've been.
I think interior design is just used for everybody.
Yes.
And there's a vast difference between a decorator and a designer. And
yes.
trying to explain that has been a lot of what I have to impart on and educate my clients so they understand what we truly do.
So they really think they need to hire an architect. And for me, they don't. A lot of times I will get architectural plans that I'll have to fix and then
Right.
resubmit to the city because the architect isn't taking into, they're not articulating the lifestyle of that client. They're not listening to the client. They're not understanding how the
End user.
furniture is going to be placed. And
Exactly.
you can't put a window here or a door here.
I have a king bed. It won't fit between the windows. I mean, I can't tell you how many times. That's my first thing. When I review a set of plans, I'm like, okay, well, are they
Or
going to
the
have
outlets aren't in the right spot.
right? Yeah. So having an architect, sure, if that's the way you want to go, a visionary, you have this view
Of
property,
course.
absolutely. But it's so great for people to know that when you hire the right designer, interior designer, you can get that process through the city, each city. I don't think that the person who wants to redo their house and build a new house or build a new office space has any idea about these things that true designers can offer.
Correct. And I really emphasize it is so important that you do your due diligence. And I think a lot of times, what I have found personally is I get so caught. In the beginning, when I started my career as an independent designer, I was a people pleaser. I wanted to please my clients so
Yes.
badly.
I think a lot of designers are that way. It's
And-
that personality type, to be
Exact-
honest, in service.
Right. But I realized I had to take a step back and I had to manage my clients. My
Yes.
clients could not manage me. They've hired me for my expertise. It's just like my clients might be a doctor or a lawyer or a CFO. I don't go to their office and tell them
what
how
to do. I think that's such a good point, Molly, because half the time I'm fielding clients like, oh, hey, I think this is, and it's like, I know, I got it. We got it.
Right.
Like, just, I'm not telling you how to.
So I think it's this combination of collaboration. You have to
Absolutely.
collaborate. You have to really understand your client. And I feel when clients come to me, what I'm contributing as a company or as a design firm is I'm pulling out their characteristics. I'm pulling out their style. I'm going to pull that and make a very consistent look for them.
Sure.
And
You're projecting their needs and wants in a beautiful space.
they're not coming to me for my style. They're coming to me so I will sit and listen and I will give them their style.
It's not rinse and repeat.
No, it's
Right.
not.
It's not. It really is.
Which makes it exciting, right?
No, you could do anything.
Yes.
Like sky's the limit, which is so
Right.
great. So on that, what advice would you give to a client that is coming to you? Like, what do you think they need to know to prepare?
So that's a great question. It goes back to this due diligence phase that we really hone in on. And we prepare a questionnaire for our clients. And it's
Same.
and it's
Yep.
and it's custom
Yep.
for them.
Exactly the
It's-
scope you've already talked about. Right?
Correct. And then it allows them to add a little more scope if they want to. but we really ask them to fill out this questionnaire, and then we ask them to select about 2 or 3 photos.
Visuals are huge.
That they don't have to do a binder. They just need to give us a couple of visuals that really inspire them, or that they want to achieve within their home, a look that they're trying to achieve. And
big binder is actually a red flag to me.
Yes,
I'm like,
because that's a micromanaging. They're gonna.
exactly. I don't need any ideas.
So why hire us again?
Right.
And so one of the other things that I feel is really important is not just them to fill out the questionnaire and send it back. It is setting up a meeting with them and going over it. And it's ideal to set it up with both partners, with both.
No matter what. I make them at my first 2 meetings, they have to both be there.
They really do, because they could actually be on 2 different pages, and you find out right then and there once they start answering those questions in front of me. And then what we do is we will go into a little more depth of how they answered the question and take more notes.
Right.
And I'm telling you, that piece becomes so important, because we'll be down the road and I will flip back to that questionnaire.
I call it the Bible.
The Bible. I was just going to say that.
Yeah, and the Bible.
It's the Bible to go back and make cross check. Okay, yes, they did say this. And it's sometimes you need to bring it to them,
back to them,
because they can sometimes go off on a tangent. And one of the things that I think that is the most hilarious is when they see something at their neighbor's house or their niece's house or their daughter's house, or whoever,
they ask someone else.
You say, that's great. I would put that in an inspiration category, but we have to be concerned that setting is different than the setting that's going to be
natural light, location, context.
Yes. Yep. So it's really explaining that to them. But that's how I ask my clients to prepare when they come to me. And then the other 2 things that are huge is their budget. You have to understand their budget, and you need them to be honest. And not only do they have to create an honest budget, and they cannot say, oh no, you tell us what the budget is. No, you know how much is in your checking account. You know how much or your mutual account, or wherever you're getting your money from. You know how much you can spend, and then do a contingency on top of that.
And that's gone. You're not getting it back.
No.
It's gone.
And you really need to clarify that in your first couple of meetings. And then the last one is the timeline. Do you have a birthday party that you need this house to be done for? Do you have a Christmas or Thanksgiving, or do you have guests coming into town? Whatever it may be, you need to know that, so you are setting up the correct expectations to meet that timeline, or to say, no, that's not going to happen.
Right. Early.
Yes.
Yep.
And I've known to even push projects a year out
because of those milestones.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, the questionnaire is huge. I maybe this might be something that you do or don't already do, but I try to, we're in community. Like, this is what I found. For the questionnaire, I'll tell them, you fill it out and you fill it out.
Right.
And then you drink wine, go on a walk, whatever you do.
Yes.
And then you give me one back.
Yes.
Take your copious notes, have that, because we're not MFCCs.
Yes.
Figure that out on your own, and then give us the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's chat through. This is always the fun part for me, right? I'm constantly bouncing ideas off you. You're bouncing ideas off me. And I thank you for always being like, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, is this happening to you too? Because sometimes as designers, we're all doing our own things. Yes, we have a team of people in the back house or around us, but you need someone, and you really call and say, hey, let's bounce this off, or, hey, is this quite right? Or,
yes.
But what's so great is that you and I both know we've been doing this for long enough. And we know from that instant we meet them, like, oh, here we go. Whether our communication skill has to change, or we have to do this differently and change our process and adapt to them, right?
Yes.
I mean, we're really adapting to them in all facets.
Yes.
But what's so great is that you and I are like, yes, your stuff is going to be taking longer than you think. Yes, there will be potholes and pitfalls and perks and peaks. So there's so many different things that you and I have discussed, which I love getting the feedback. But let's tell everyone about the process of telling our clients really, truly how it is and having them get our trust from being so transparent. That's what I found. It's like we have to just tell them, hey, you can get a $300 light fixture or you can get a $1,200 light fixture. There's a complete difference in that.
I agree with that. And I agree that I guess it goes back to that expectation. And I think that you really have to explain to your client, we've placed the order on this day. They have the manufacturer is expected to have it completed on this day. And it's your responsibility as a designer to follow up on that piece.
Right.
And to keep getting as much information from the manufacturer to say, are you going to make that
Right.
timeline?
Deadline. Yeah. Is this happening?
Is
right.
this happening? And the more you can send off a communication to the client to say, I have verified that it's still in production on this day. As of this day, the manufacturer is still guaranteeing this timeline. And I think it's that you are staying on top of it so that when it does change and the timeline does move out a week or 2 weeks, I feel the client can say, okay, well, they've been following up.
Right.
They've been sending something via this software that I'm getting the communication from.
Right.
And it's really just keep educating your client that there are delays and
out of our control.
Right. And that we're doing everything to keep it going. And I feel if you keep saying that over and over again and you keep repeating the same thing and have a consistent message, I feel that if it was to be delayed, or what I have found, if something is delayed, it's a little bit easier to digest.
Right.
Has been my experience with my clients.
Yeah. It's all about communication.
It's all about
and
communication.
them understanding and that constant feedback,
Yes.
direct, open, honest relationship, really.
And I think we entered a very unusual situation with COVID and the shipping issues and the delivery timelines and the cost increase.
Yes.
And I feel that there were some clients understood it,
Right.
and some clients just really couldn't accept it.
Right.
And it was really trying to, again, educate the clients that this is what was going on. And so I felt that I got a lot of learning from that.
Sure.
I moving forward, it has really helped me in my business to tighten up certain areas within that I found that I had some cracks in. And again, another silver lining.
Oh, absolutely.
To inflation and also to the shipping issues.
Right.
So I feel that it's just, again, it all goes back to communication.
Yeah. There's so many projects that we work on, and we have so many things going on at the same, like you're saying, you have 5 things going on in your head as you're looking as you're having a conversation. I'm sizing up the crown molding in the restaurant when I'm with my girlfriends and I'm off the clock.
Oh, right.
There's so many things that we're like thinking about all the time that it's like constant overwhelm.
Oh, you can't take me to a hotel. It's horrible.
No. Oh, no.
And my daughter,
I can't watch a TV show without pressing pause. And my kids are like, oh my God. I'm like, I have to check out the door style in the kitchen cabinet.
Yes.
And they're like, here we go, Mom.
Did you ever get the, who's the director? Sally, or the Myers movies, and people came to Nancy Myers, and they wanted a Nancy Myers house.
Oh, they all did. They wanted the great artwork. I'm like, have you?
Yes.
Do you know how
the white kitchen with the black countertops,
the inch countertop,
yes,
and then Restoration Hardware was everywhere.
Yes.
Remember? Oh gosh, so many trends.
Very much.
Oh, we've lived through so many, Mom.
And I think that that's one of the things. To get back to my quality. I don't want to be a trend. I want
Same.
to be something that's a lifestyle, something that they can grow into, something
Mhm.
that grows with them over time.
Absolutely. That's huge. I always tell my clients, is this space working harder for you
Right.
since I've been here? And if the answer is yes, then I've done my job. And they'll call me 5 years later, or, oh, we have another house, or, oh, hey, we're doing this, or, oh, we're moving. And we do this. I do my same process. I do my same routine, but their house looks completely different.
Yeah.
And I'm enhancing their lifestyle every day.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what it comes down to. And how hard is your space working?
One thing that you were asking me about with clients and educating them, and this goes back to my 5 items or that I live by, is respect. I will work with a client that I feel I can respect and I feel I'm receiving the same respect. And one of the fun things that I do is, and I don't know if this is something that I should share, this little
Give us a tip. Come on.
secret, is
Tease
that
us.
when I go over to my client for the first time, if they offer me a glass of water or a cup of coffee, I think that says
So much.
it says a lot. And I really think that it's little things like that, that you'll be able to have a wonderful relationship with someone. And I think that you can't force a relationship. Not every
It's chemistry.
It's chemistry. It's absolutely
Always
is chemistry.
comes down to it.
Yes.
Every time I've had a client where my gut went off, it to either good or bad, it's been either good or bad.
Yes.
It's in the first 5 minutes, I can size it up, and if it's going to be something that I will do or won't do.
And you can't, and it's like,
That's a good one. I'm going to think about that if they offered me water. What about if they put the dogs away? Or that's always one for me, because I'm like, hello, like, I came to see your house. Like,
not a million dogs and a million kids running around.
Right. It's like this, please take this seriously. Because this is my passion. This is what I'm going to do till my last breath.
Right.
Like, give it respect. It deserves it.
That's
like,
true.
I have 2 degrees. Like, let's go. It's different. It's just, that's a good one.
I just want to say the last thing, that even though we talk about all these more administrative concepts, we need to be inspired. We need to be inspired. And I have found sometimes I get in a rut where I'm sitting in my office, or I'm doing this in the same town, and I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And I don't get out. I don't travel. I don't visit different opportunities that are going to inspire me. And I feel it is so important that we constantly are educating ourselves, and we're going to a lot of different places,
even museums for half a day.
Yes.
Or go tour the Gamble House, or go to whatever.
Or architecture,
you don't
different
have
buildings.
to fly to Barcelona and walk a Gaudi house.
Yes, just go to
the beach.
Pasadena.
You go to Pasadena. It's right there. Yeah, inspiration is huge. And we go,
but we have to stop.
And we have to stop. And that's the thing which I think is from our industry. Our industry there's so many things where half the time we are doing the minutia.
Yes.
And the running of the business. I'd actually say it's 80-20. 80% of the time I'm running the business.
Yes.
And making sure everybody is happy and efficient. And 20% of the time I'm designing, and 5% of that time I'm trying to get inspired.
Yes.
So it all can look good by the time I put in all my blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. So inspiration is huge. Field trips.
Yes. Lots of field trips.
I try to take the girls to a field trip like once a quarter, maybe once a month. I do something fun for bonding.
Yes.
Because it's huge.
Field trips, lunch and learns.
To sit in the studio all day. No. Even the reps that come. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's inspiring
going up to LA, just going to LA to the actual showrooms.
It's huge. And talking with the reps, and I don't do that enough because I'm so in the moment and I got to get it done. But once I do, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that they made that custom style of rug, and I'm designing a mid-century right now. So this is perfect. Like, it's crazy how reps come in, and then all of a sudden I need a break because I'm like, oh my God, I'm spinning out of control because it is so inspiring.
Right.
So it's just funny where we can get it from. And sometimes when we're in the minutia of it, it just feels like, oh God, get me out of the studio, right? Go to the museum, travel.
Yes.
But Europe would be nice.
Yes. Europe would be very nice. South
Yes.
America.
Yes, that would be
Asia.
good. Yes. So Molly O Interior Design.
Yes. We're on.
Website's there. She's on Monrovia, right?
No, I'm on Placentia.
Sorry, Placentia.
Placentia between 16th and 17th next to Eller
Yep.
Coffee. And
You can walk in, make
in,
an appointment, or walk in.
Walk in, or make an appointment, and it'll be fun. I'm kind of a hoot to work with.
You really are. You're a hoot to sit with. So thank you so much for your time.
Well,
I love
thank you.
You know it.
I love you too, and this was so much fun.
Thank you. Well, next time.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'd love to come again.
We'll have so many more topics to discuss. We didn't even get into it.
No,
to be quite honest,
we really didn't. No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to find more about me or my services, check out my website at luludesigns.com.